was 50.3 ppm of Corexit's 2-butoxyethanol in the swimming pool.
That's
50.3.
Yeah, that's the 2BE. The 2BE is the real killer. They can call it that. But when something like that shows up in a swimming pool, you have to ask yourself the question, how did they get there?
You bet. And the whole family got sick. This is bad.
Well, what it points to is unless that guy is a part-time Corexit salesman and he somehow mixes it in his garage and it migrated over to the pool area, somehow that got there. When a highly toxic, potentially carcinogenic chemical like this ends up in a swimming pool, all you can do is ask yourself the question: is this dropped down by rainwater? And if it is dropped down by rainwater, just like the phenomenon of acid rain, we all know what acid rain is, and so in a sense, the Gulf of Mexico is producing its own type of acid rain phenomenon, and I'm talking about the cycle. I'm not talking about acid rain in terms of the same chemicals, but it's the weather patterns of the Gulf of Mexico are producing an acid rain phenomenon over the peninsula of Florida. This is the deduction that many of us are coming to in light of that test and others that people are submitting to different labs around the Gulf Coast that are showing amounts of chemicals in different places that they ought not to be, and the only place they can come from is the Gulf of Mexico as a source.
Now, there's another story that is quite concerning, and it has to do with 2BE as well. Bob Naiman, the analytical chemist.
I spoke to him today. The water that he's using is sent from our friends down at Naples, Bonita Springs area, testing the waters. They're taking samples, sending them to Bob. Bob is sending them back, and they're showing levels of different chemical compounds that can only come from Corexit 9527, which apparently is not being used anymore, and hasn't been in use since way back three months ago when they were using it pretty liberally. So when chemical constituents show up in the water that indicate that 9527, the MSD, they're reflective of the MSDS sheet that shows 9527. Now you've got an issue whereby the Coast Guard and the EPA say that no more 9527 is being used.